All right there. How is everybody? What I wanted to do is to take you through a small lecture on the concept of a tuple, right? And you must be wondering, what is tuple? We have seen in Python when you do a, we've looked at list before, right? List, and I'm going to just create something super fast here. List is normally, used with you create with a square brackets, and you can put in any items in here. I'm just going to put some shopping item, items that I could buy. I guess you could buy anything these days. Well, and it's separated by, each item is separated, of course, by a comma, right? Just like I can even buy a Nike here. And then in a list, you can even put numbers there too. As long as it's separated by a comma, the Python interpreter knows that those are individual items, right? So I can even put some decimal numbers here, not a problem. And in a list, I can also put in a list, right? I mean, which is fairly cool too. So let's just say this is some pair information, and I can put another comma here, right? The cool thing I love about using a list is that, when you want to print this out, you simply say LST. All right, save this, and I'm going to run this, and it should print me my list, which is right here, right? So that is it. Now, the other data structure that Python provides, and I'm going to take that print out because I don't need it anymore, right? The other data structure that Python provides. So let me show you something. Hold on. I'm going to leave the print here, and then I'm going to say LST, right? And I'm going to change item number 3 to whatever it is. Item number 3 would be, actually, let's go item number 1. Index 1. Index 1 would be item number 2. That is that one. I'm going to say change, instead of Nike, put I don't know, what should I put? Champion. Right? So now if I go ahead and print this out, LST, I should see, instead of Nike, I should see a champion, because I have basically taken the item at index 1, item number 2, index 1, right? Index 1 at position 1, because this is at position 0. So this is at position 1, and I'm replacing that item with the text called champion. So that is, and you can see in my output, I have a Nike here, and then I have a champion here. It's the same location, right? And I've been able to change it. So now I'm going to change, I don't need this anymore. Maybe I'll leave it. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but I'm going to take this print out, because that print basically will, I need to print out. So the new structure that we're looking at least today, is what we call a tuple, right? And let me just call it my tuple. And the way you in Python you tell the compiler is a tuple is by using a parenthesis. And here I can almost put everything that's in my right. I can put everything in a list. Everything that can be added to a list can be added to a tuple, right? And I believe I can even do a print my tuple. Let's just see if that even works, right? If I can print it out. So right, you see it prints all the milk and everything we got. Everything's safe. So now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. So I'm going to say my tuple, and I believe I can use the square bracket 2, number 1 is equals to champion, and then we're going to say print my tuple, right? This is what makes tuple different. So let's just go ahead and run this one and see what error we get, right? It will say here, object does not support item assignment, right? So what that means is that when you have a tuple declared such as that, I cannot go ahead and change this anymore, right? It's like a read-only list, right? You cannot change it anymore. It's not, it's immutable, right? You cannot change it anymore. And you must be saying, what's the reason? I mean, why do I have a list that I cannot change? It doesn't make sense. I mean, I have a list data structure here, right? And that allows me to do anything I want. And then I have this tuple thing here, which I cannot change anymore. You must be wondering, what's the benefit of having something like this? Well, the benefit, let's just say if you have, and I'm going to take that print out as well, and this print out as well. Let's just say you have another tuple, and I'm going to call this states, right? States. And here, key. I'm just putting some text here, right? Some text here, AZ, UT, and then what other ones is there? Oh, okay, let's just leave it like that. Just assume this was a list of all the states in US, right? That would make sense, because once I have a list of states, what's the reason I would go change this? I mean, there's no reason. So there are times when you need to have a list that is read-only and unchangeable, and that is when you use a tuple, right? Those are the times when you use a tuple, right? So tuple also comes with different methods, right? Different methods, and if you want to print one of these out, you can simply say print. The way you access items in a tuple is by using a square bracket, and I'm going to say number 2. Let's go number 2, right? And that should give me 0, 1, 2, give me UT, right? Give me UT. That is how you basically access items inside a tuple, right? You can also do something fancy here, which I thought was really cool. I've never seen any other language does this type of thing except for Python. States you can put -2 here. What do you think let's go -1. What do you think -1 does? Okay, let's just run both of them and see what data they both give us. Okay, and now you see the assignment. Okay, take this out. This is wrong. It's not going to work for me, right? Run that now. Right, it gives me UT and OR. So that means is that index 2, there is 0, there is 1, this is index 2, right? And then -1 is position 1 from the reverse, right? So that's what indexing from the reverse means. The other things that we have seen in strings also applies here too. So I can even do, so this is right here, you can slice. You can say print, and I'm going to say print states. Let's go from 1 and go till 3, right? I'm not sure this will, maybe I got to let me put a couple more here so I don't get into trouble. WA, right? TX, and then I want to put NV, single quote, NV, right? Just like that. Now, so let's just see this slicing. What does it do? Right, basically it says, go at position 1, from position 1, give me elements up to position 3, but not including 3, right? So that means this is position 0, this would be 1, right? 1, and then this would be position 2, right? So give me from position 1 up to position 3, but not including 3, right? Does not include 3. So that is what the slicing does. And you got to go back and watch my my string video. There's a lot of slicing stuff that I have put in there, various ways you can slice string, right? Other ways you can also slice this tuple is basically you put in here slice from 3. That means from 2 go all the way to the end, right? You can also do something like right, 2 to the end. You can also do something like print states, and here I'm going to say -3. That means, from the reverse, give me -3, right? So if I run these ones, it just gives you different things. So there you go. From the reverse, right, gives me, well, that one, right? So this one is from position 2 all the way to the end, right? From the reverse gives me -3. Kind of weird. It gives you 4 though, doesn't it? All right. So how does it work? I'm sure it starts at right. That would be 7 and 6. So that starts at, if you start at 0, index from 3. All right. Let me see what else I got. Yeah, when you try to change a tuple, right? When you try to change an item in a tuple, that will, that will not work, right? Like we did earlier here. We tried to say something like states 3 is equals to, I don't know, just make something here. What else is there? CT. That will not work. However, you can change the whole thing and say equals to, right? I'm going to make a new list here, states. Instead of C, I will say California, right? All right, you see that? So you cannot change individual items in a tuple like that, right? But you can change the whole thing with something else. So this is allowed, right? So this one is allowed, and this one is not allowed, because on line number 22 you are changing specific items in the tuple, which is not allowed. But you can replace the whole tuple with another new tuple, right? So that would be okay. Right, that is that. Other things you can do, pretty much everything that you can do in a list, you can do in a tuple, except for updates and addition and type things like that. Right, you can do some kind of things like, let's print this states dot count. Right, you can still do print states dot index. Index means tell me where do I find C. Hopefully that will give me, because I don't have the full. Let's just put AZ here, AR here, right? AR. Maybe it will not find anything because AR is not a full. All right, of course it's giving me the error because that is not allowed, right? But everything else is pretty much allowed here. So oh, I see. Yes. When you put a count, you're looking for what are you looking for? Arizona. So I'm asking how many in my tuple, how many Arizona is there, right? And that should give me a 0. What does it say here? Index. Okay, it's saying that this is not in the tuple, right? But what if I put California? That should give me, I was hoping it'll give me like a -1 or something instead of an error. Right, see that? It gives me 0. So those are basic stuff that you can use with tuple, right? The other thing that, or the other thing that comes up also is how do we go about, for item in states, right? Print, not item, let's just put S here, right? S, and then print, simply go ahead and print the states, right? And if I run, now I don't want to print this out anymore, take this out. I don't want to print this out anymore as well. Actually, all of this, right? It will iterate through each item in the tuple and print it out for us. Okay, so that is tuple, right? It's not a very common use, but it's there. Now, the other one that also I wanna quickly go over is what the idea of using a set, right? A set. So what it means is that now we've looked at tuples, and I'm going to take all of these tuples out because it's very similar to a list, except it's on read, except a tuple is read only, and then you cannot change it once it's created, right? You cannot change elements in it. Okay, so I have a list here, right? Now you watch what I'm going to do here. In my list, right? In my list, what I can do, I can go ahead. I'm going to change something. I'm going to put another milk here, right? Milk, and leave everything the way it is. So we look at set, right? And what a set is, let me just put set 1 is equal to, using curly brackets this time, and I can copy some of these items in there. Just watch what happens, right? And I'm not going to worry about the other end items because I don't like the way it looks, right? So now I'm going to print this out. Print set 1. right? Let's just see what it pops up. Then you will see the big difference that's bringing in here. Okay, now when I printed this out, right? When I printed the set out, how many milk did you see? You saw one milk, but I have two items, don't I? I have two items, right? I have two items. So what the point here is that a set, it's an unordered, right? Order doesn't matter, unordered collection of items. And you can see how the order flipped, 45, 23, order flipped here. That order doesn't match what order I have here, regardless, right? It's an unordered collection of items, but it's a unique set of items, right? It's a unique set of items. You cannot, it doesn't make sense to have, it doesn't allow duplicates, right? It doesn't take duplicates. So it's a unique set of items. Okay, let's create another set. So now you see, set is basically an extension of a tuple, right? Tuple is a read-only set of items, and set is also a read-only set of items, but it's unique, right? You cannot have duplicates. So let me take this out again. So I'm gonna list in, take that out as well, right? So that's a list. List are, you can change it, right? And then you have a tuple one, and that uses a curly brackets, right? And you can put, I can put the same items in here, right? And these are, the word is called immutable, right? That means unchangeable, right? Unchangeable, right? And then we have this other one that we're looking at called set one. And set takes a curly brackets, right? And here it's also immutable and unique, right? So even though I have two milk there, it doesn't take two milk. It just keeps one of them, right? Just keeps one of them, because the whole idea of having a set is to have unique values, right? So that's basically what it is. Now let me see what other methods that we haven't looked into. Okay, let's see if we can do something here. I have a set, and I'm going to go ahead and do set one dot add. What if I add, right? And then I'm going to print it out. Set one. Print that out and see if that, right? So you can add items to it, right? You can add items to it. How about if I try something else? Set one, item number 1, and I want to go ahead and set that to sugar, and then print set one. Now, as you recall, right? As you recall, what I'm saying is that I'm saying look for item at index 1 and set it to sugar. And then I get an error saying that is assignment is not allowed. Reassignment is not allowed. You can add items to it, but you cannot update anything that's there already, right? So that is the whole idea of using a set. Okay, so that is that. And then I believe you can also now, I thought, because the reason for it does not support item assignment, you can, well, it's actually set is, I said immutable, huh? Set is you can update items in a set. So I'm going to tell you what that means, right? It's kind of tricky. It's immutable, but you can change it. So it's a little different. Okay, that's going to give me an error, right? Let's go change that. And I'm going to do, you can say, my set, set one dot update. All right, and I'm going to update with, I'm going to add a few items in here. the way you can edit it by using a list in there, and I can say 5, 3. All right. So you see what I've been able to do is I've been able to add these extra items, right? Extra items by updating the set, right? Updating the set with 3 more elements. So you must be saying, okay, Professor, I can see you can add items in a set, you can update items in a set, but you said set are immutable, right? So let me do a little clarification here. Each item in the set, right, is immutable. That means you cannot change that anymore. But the whole set, you can do whatever you want to. You can update, you can add, you can even remove items from it, right? You can even remove items. And I believe the way you can do that is you can say something like set1 dot remove, and I'm going to remove, let's just go with item number 2, print set1. So in Python provides a few, set1 dot remove 2. Didn't even give me what error it is. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a key error. Key error means 2 doesn't exist. So I'm going to put, let's just put 23. I know 23 does exist. So that should not give me that error anymore. I mean, I would have hoped that it will tell me that key doesn't exist, right? Or maybe I should check if the key exists, right? I should check before if the key exists before I remove it. So that would be a good thing to do. And now I was saying Python has, list, dictionary, set, tuple, string, right? String methods, and some of the, I mean, all of these are just provided to you for various reasons. It depends on what you want to use it for. All right. So also in the set, you can do a set1 dot pop. What do you think pop does? Pop is pretty cool. You have seen it in Q, right? I don't know if we have. No, I think we have done Q. Of course, yes, we have done Q, right? Pop basically pops an item, right? And from the set. So now, since I know these ones is working, right? I mean, I've shown you how. I'm going to take this out, right? Because I want to work with that list. Right. So now you see there's 3 numbers, right? Initially I had because there's a duplicate milk here, and set doesn't allow duplicates, so that's not another element. But anyways, I had 4 of them here. Let me take this out too, just to avoid confusion, right? Okay, so that popped out. I'm going to run it again. Right? Do you see what's happening? I'm running the same code over and over again, right? And it's giving me different output. That means it's popping out items from the set, right? But it's not popping the same item out each time, right? So that's milk. And I'm going to run it again. Hopefully it will give me a different thing. See that? That's a different one, right? So I don't know what it popped out, but it's something different, right? And then again, so what we're seeing here is that a set is an unordered list. So the item you're adding it could go anywhere. I mean, there is no, if I say something like, pop basically pops an item, right? Pops an item normally from the end, right? It pops an item from the end or the top. But since we know that's working, I'm going to take that out, okay? And I'm going to put a square bracket here because I want to get an item from the set. I'm going to put 2 here, right? Or let's just put number 1, right? Number 1, I want 0, first item 0, and then I'm going to run this. Right now, you see it gives me an error. Why do you think it gives me an error? Because this index, it means nothing, right? It doesn't exist in a set. Items are not indexed as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, as you might think, right? So this subscript is doesn't really mean anything, because you cannot access items that way, right? So just remember that if you use a for loop or anything like that, and your code is not working, that means that means that's the reason, because it's not, it's an unordered, right? Unordered. Okay. Other things that you can do with the set, which I think is really cool. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to take all of this out, right? I'm going to create a new set. So this, I'm going to call this set A, and let's just put here curly brackets. I'm going to put 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? That's number one. Set B is equals to curly bracket 3, 6. Oh, let's start 1, 1. Okay, right. Okay. You can even do some kind of math stuff here too. So what I'm saying is that you can do a print, and I'm going to say set A union, right? Union is, in this case, is that operator, set B. All right. Now, when I print this, you watch what happens, right? It puts them all together, and it's pretty cool how it puts them kind of, I mean, in some order, but it does put them together, I think. Right, it puts them in some. So that is union, right? The other thing you can do a intersection, which is an AND operator, right? An intersection. Now, since these two are same, it's not going to give me anything that's common. But I'm going to put 5 here, right? I'm going to put 2 here as well. So there is some items are similar. Some items exist in both sets. So that should give me a 5 and a 2. Right, or 2 and a 5, right? So there is other things you can do. Set intersection. You can do things like difference too. Instead of set A and set B, I can say set A minus set B. That means from set A, take out anything that belongs to set B. So this should take out, I believe, 2 and 5, right? That at least took out 2, right? That is what set is. And then you can also other things, we can do add, clear, copy, remove, union. Yeah, iterating. I think we did that, right? How do you loop through a list? And that is the cool thing is that for all for S in set A, right? Print S. Actually, all in Python, all whatever you got, whether set, list, tuple, all of this you can iterate in that way. All right, that gives you a whole bunch of items. All right, so hopefully this will help you in some way, right? Being able to see, how a tuple and a set works, right?